So this is your dad, right?
Yeah, this is my father. He was very musical, and I heard that a great-grandfather in Norway played the violin and many other instruments.
So there was a multi-generational campaign happening for a violinist in this family.
Right.
My name is Sarah Grimes, and I'm a first violinist in the Minnesota Orchestra. I grew up here in Minnesota. According to my mom, when I was 3, I started asking for a violin. My parents are musicians, and they were teaching me all about the different instruments and about orchestra and having me listen to orchestral music.
Music was just happening here. I was playing the
true.
trumpet. Mom is an accompanist. You know, that's part of the adventure of being parents and having kids is finding out where your gifts lie and helping you to develop those gifts.
My sister Lydia is in the viola section of the Minnesota Orchestra. She just joined the orchestra about a year ago.
I grew up looking up to her and wanting to be like her my whole life, so to finally be together and performing together is very special.
You, above all people on this earth, have the ability to make me laugh if you just make a face at me. It's a dangerous situation every concert. I just can't look over at you because I'll start laughing.
Very true.
As far as having a musical family, you can be in the environment like that just makes music naturally a part of your life. But there's so much that goes into raising kids and giving them a musical education. I mean, it's the driving, buying instruments, taking notes at all of my lessons. Mom playing with me all the time for all of my recitals. Grandma taking me to play recitals and helping me prepare for all of them.
Well, we used to call Grandma their agent, too, because Grandma would set up all kinds of stuff at nursing homes.
I remember different points with each of you where I said, yeah, these girls are going to be absolute top-notch musicians.
So here's a photo of Sarah with Nancy Locken, her first teacher.
Yeah.
And Nancy is the one that suggested that we might do a listening notebook. And so she had this idea and...
Yeah. I'm so glad I found this. I still play all of these pieces all the time. And it's kind of... I don't often stop to think about the fact that I started hearing them when I was 4 or 5. Romeo and Juliet by Prokofiev. Which I listened to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Wow. Your favorite?
One of my favorites. That might have been when it became my favorite. I don't know.
What do you think you liked about it back then?
I mean, I think I liked the drama of it.
Yeah.
The harmonic language of Prokofiev is just so ingenious to me, but at the same time, the melodies that he writes are very arresting. Like, they kind of go straight to my heart. When I was growing up, the orchestra offered a lot of different competitions for young musicians, and so I played in many of those. And when I was 12 years old, I was a finalist in something called Minnesota Idol, which was a short-lived competition that came about in the heyday of American Idol. So I got to play, I think, an excerpt of my concerto with the orchestra when I was 12, and that was so beyond anything I could have dreamed of doing at that age. And I later joined the Minnesota Youth Symphonies. That was a huge part of my musical life as a kid.
Osmo was the music director, and Sarah got to meet him when he conducted Youth Symphony, right?
I went to Northwestern University and played in the Civic Orchestra of Chicago for a year. And in 2016, I became a member of the Minnesota Orchestra. I came to a lot of orchestra concerts as a little kid and as a teenager. And I think now being a Minnesotan in the Minnesota Orchestra, I feel a sense of responsibility to continue the work that had such an impact on me as a kid. All of the young people's concerts that we do, all of the work that we do in the community, performances, teaching, I really value that, and I want to be a part of continuing that legacy. When I joined the Minnesota Orchestra, I was really struck by how familial it was and how friendly everyone was from day one. And I really think that's a special thing about this orchestra. I've made so many lifelong friends here. I'm gonna have some friends over who just happen to be orchestra musicians for a tapas night. I'm looking for some Spanish cheeses. My biggest hobby probably is cooking. I love to cook. I love trying new recipes. But most of all, I love cooking for people and the friendship and fellowship that always invites.
At one party, she brought her crock pots to my house and served like 20 people mac and cheese. It was awesome.
My specialty.
Yes.
For tapas night, I made gambas al ajillo, that's garlic shrimp, and I tried making this almond garlic bread chilled soup. We had a nice baked goat cheese and tomato sauce, which is one of my favorite dishes from a tapas restaurant that I used to go to. And we had lots of bread and charcuterie.
I am very spoiled with meals like this a lot.
We're gonna have a full table. We can just stand around.
I just love Sarah all the way through, all the way around. She's just fabulous. She's a beautiful person. She's a beautiful musician. I think she makes beautiful food, which I'm very, very lucky to enjoy.
I can't think of a better thing to do on a very, very cold night than pretend we're in Spain.
She's one of those musicians who makes the musicians around her better, and it makes her so easy to play with. You feel like you know what she's going to do before she does it. And that's a skill. That's something that you work on and that you perfect over years, and not everybody gets there. And it's what makes her the kind of musician that other musicians want to play with. This is the last nice stuff any of us will ever say about it.
Yeah.
It is over.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of musicians, chamber music is the thing that we love most because at the end of the day, that is what we do just on a bigger scale when we're playing in orchestra. So I always cherish the moments when I can play chamber music with my colleagues. I love being able to put groups together and choose our repertoire. I just find it to be one of the joys in life. When I was growing up, my grandma would always take me to perform at nursing homes. I had a ton of experience in front of an audience, which was a great thing on its own. But I think it also taught me how much music or just expressing yourself towards other people can make a difference to them. And those experiences really shaped how I think about my job as a performer. You know, we're all kind of just processing the human experience together and trying to find those moments that can really only happen in something as inexplicable as music. I really hope that anyone who comes through the doors of Orchestra Hall leaves feeling changed somehow. If I know that we as a group can do that for any number of people, then I've done my job.